The hidden trap. Why caring too much is your biggest weakness. The science of emotional addiction. Imagine this. You check your phone, waiting for a reply that never comes. You refresh your messages, overanalyzing that last conversation. You tell yourself you don't care, but deep down it eats at you. This isn't just emotional frustration, it's neurological addiction. When we seek approval, our brain releases dopamine, the same pleasure chemical triggered by gambling or drug use. Each time we receive validation, whether through a text, a like, or a compliment, it reinforces a loop of external dependency. Over time, our self-worth stops being something we control and instead becomes something others dictate. Neuroscientists call this intermittent reinforcement, the unpredictable nature of rewards that keeps us obsessively chasing them. The problem? The more we chase, the more we need. And the more we need, the weaker we become. The paradox of caring. Why the more you chase, the less you get. You've seen it happen. The moment you care too much, the other person pulls away. The harder you try to impress, the less impressive you seem. It's an unspoken law of human nature. Scarcity breeds value. Think about high-status people, whether it's a CEO, a celebrity, or someone everyone admires. They don't beg for attention. They don't constantly explain themselves. Their presence alone commands respect because they understand a critical rule. The less available something is, the more people want it. But when you care too much, when you over-explain, over-apologize, or overthink, you unknowingly signal low value. You teach others that your attention is easy to get and therefore not worth much. Real power comes from holding back, not reacting, not chasing, not proving yourself. Because the second you stop caring whether they approve, they start wondering why you don't. The dark psychology of detachment, how those who care the least control the most. There's a reason why the most powerful people in any social dynamic are often the least emotionally invested. This isn't about manipulation, it's about understanding leverage. Think of a poker game. The person who desperately needs to win will always be the weakest player. Their fear of loss makes them predictable, easy to read, and easy to control. The one who doesn't fear losing, they play with confidence, make bold moves, and ultimately dictate the flow of the game. This is how detachment works in real life. When you stop needing someone's approval, you instantly shift the power dynamic. You become unpredictable, and unpredictability triggers intrigue, curiosity, and even obsession. The key isn't to suppress your emotions, it's to control how much access others have to them. When you master detachment, you don't become cold, you become powerful. Because in the end, the one who cares the least always holds the most control. This is just the beginning. In the next chapter, we'll uncover the real power of detachment, why it's not about being heartless, but about reclaiming your own strength. Are you ready to stop chasing and start leading? The cold truth. Detachment isn't apathy, it's power. Think of it like this. Imagine you're a soldier in battle. If you panic, get overwhelmed, or let fear control you, you make reckless decisions and lose the war. But if you remain calm and calculated, you can act with precision, even in chaos. That's detachment. It's not about being heartless, it's about having control over what affects you. You still feel emotions, but they don't dictate your actions. Emotional detachment means responding instead of reacting, observing instead of obsessing, choosing who and what gets your energy. And paradoxically, when you master this mindset, you don't lose people, you attract them. Psychologists call this the uncertainty principle. Our brains are wired to find predictability boring and unpredictability exciting. When someone is too available, our mind categorizes them as safe and stops craving them. Detachment creates this effect naturally. If you're not always available, people wonder why. If you're not easily impressed, people work harder to impress you. If you're unpredictable in your attention, people crave your validation even more. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding a simple truth. Your energy is your power. The less freely you give it, the more valuable it becomes. Here's how they did it. Detach from emotions, not experiences. Seneca believed emotions should be observed, not obeyed. You can feel anger without acting on it. You can feel love without losing yourself in it. Reframe rejection as freedom. The Stoics viewed rejection as a redirection. If someone doesn't value you, why would you want them? Detachment allows you to see rejection not as a loss, but as a blessing, because it removes distractions from your path. Are you ready to take back your power?
The three-step formula to instantly stop caring. You've been trained to believe that caring deeply about how others perceive you makes you likable, respected, even loved. But the truth? The more you care, the weaker you become. The more you chase, the less you get. Detachment isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. And today, I'll give you the exact three-step method to detach instantly, stop overthinking, and reclaim your power. Step 1. The no response method, using silence as a psychological weapon. Most people overreact. They explain, they chase, they try to fix situations where someone is ignoring them, disrespecting them, or losing interest. But here's the reality. The person who speaks less controls the frame. When you pull back and say nothing, you force the other person to wonder what's going on. Your silence creates uncertainty, which triggers their brain to seek closure. This is the foundation of detachment, learning to let your absence speak louder than your words. When they delay responding, you delay even longer. When they pull back, you disappear completely. When they ignore you, you act as if you never noticed. At first, this feels unnatural, because you're breaking the addiction to validation. But once you master it, you'll see the power instantly. The less you react, the more control you gain. Step 2. The mind reset technique, training your brain to detach in seconds. Your brain is wired for attachment. Every time you seek approval, dopamine is released, reinforcing your need for external validation. The trick? Interrupt the cycle before it controls you. Here's a quick mental reprogramming exercise to instantly stop caring when you feel yourself obsessing. The so what method. Whenever your mind starts spiraling, why haven't they responded? What if they don't like me anymore? Did I say something wrong? Ask yourself, so what? So what if they ignore me? That's their problem. So what if they don't like me? I don't need their approval. So what if they leave? It makes space for something better. This technique rewires your brain to realize that nothing is as serious as it feels in the moment. Detachment is about perspective. The second you start seeing things as small, they become small. Step 3. The identity shift. Becoming someone who naturally doesn't chase. Most people try to act detached when they still internally care too much. That's why it feels fake. Instead of pretending, you need to become the type of person who doesn't overinvest. How? Shift your identity. Instead of thinking, I need to stop caring, think, I'm the kind of person who values myself too much to overthink this. This is a core belief upgrade. You're not someone who tries to be detached. You're someone who naturally doesn't chase because you see yourself as the prize. Actionable mindset shifts. Instead of thinking, I hope they like me, think, I wonder if they're even worth my time. Instead of proving your value, assume your value is obvious. Instead of fearing loss, embrace it, because anything lost was never yours to begin with. When you see yourself as the one in control, you naturally stop seeking validation. And when you stop seeking validation, you become the one others seek.
The ultimate reversal. Make them chase you without lifting a finger. You've broken free from the trap of overcaring. You've trained yourself to detach. But now comes the real power move. Flipping the script so that they're the ones chasing you. Most people think attraction, attention, and respect are won by effort, by giving more, proving more, doing more. That's a lie. The truth? The less you give, the more they crave you. This chapter will show you exactly how to trigger that effect using 3 powerful psychological techniques. Psychological triggers, how to make others feel your absence. The human mind is wired to overvalue what is scarce and underappreciate what is always available. When someone is constantly present, texting first, always showing interest, always giving attention, their value drops. Now imagine the opposite. You were once giving attention, and then suddenly, you're gone. Your silence creates a vacuum, and the mind hates vacuums. It fills them with curiosity, frustration, and eventually, obsession. Make them feel the shift. If you've been overavailable, start pulling back gradually. Sudden withdrawal can feel forced, but a gradual reduction in attention creates confusion, which triggers pursuit. Leave conversations unfinished. Never be the one keeping the conversation alive. Instead, end it first. Leave them hanging. Make them wonder why you're suddenly less invested. Make your presence unpredictable. If they know they'll always have access to you, they take you for granted. But if they never know when you'll respond, when you'll engage, or when you'll be available, they start waiting for your moves. This isn't about manipulation. It's about breaking their assumption that your attention is a given. And once that assumption is broken, they start chasing. The push-pull effect. Why strategic detachment makes people crave you. Attraction thrives on tension. Give too much, and there's no excitement. Give too little, and they lose interest. But if you master the push-pull effect, you create the perfect psychological storm. How it works. One push, distance yourself. Suddenly, you're less available. You reply slower. You engage less. You stop seeking them out. This creates a gap, and they feel it. 2. Pull, reward their effort. Once they start reaching out, you give a little back, but just enough to keep them invested. A quick response, a short but engaging conversation, a moment of warmth. 3. Repeat. Each time you pull away, they feel the loss. Each time you give a little back, they feel relief. This cycle trains their mind to crave your presence. Think of it like a game of hot and cold. When they get closer, you let them feel warmth. But when they take you for granted, you go cold again. This unpredictability makes them think about you nonstop. The obsession loop. How to condition people to value you. More by giving them less. The reason detachment is so powerful isn't just that it makes you seem stronger. It actually changes how people's brains process you. Here's why. People obsess over unresolved emotions. When something is unfinished, a conversation, an interaction, a situation, the mind fixates on it. By leaving them wondering, you keep them thinking about you. We value what we work for. If something is given too easily, we assume it's not worth much. But if we have to earn attention, validation, or presence, we start believing it's valuable. The brain seeks patterns and gets addicted to them. By using the push-pull effect, you create an emotional roller coaster that their brain becomes hooked on. The high of getting your attention, the low of your absence, it keeps them coming back for more. This is how true influence works. It's not about chasing, it's about training others to chase you. The final twist. The real enemy is your own mind. As you've learned by now, detachment isn't about playing games or manipulating others. It's about taking back control over what you can actually influence. Your own thoughts, actions, and mindset. We've talked about how detachment makes others chase you, how silence and unpredictability shift the dynamic, and how you can become someone who doesn't need validation. But there's one critical piece of the puzzle left, and it's the most important one. The true source of your power isn't the people around you, the relationships you form, or the games you play. It's all about your mind and the limiting beliefs that keep you shackled to old patterns of emotional dependency and neediness. Detaching from limiting beliefs. The real chains aren't other people, but your own thoughts. When you're constantly seeking approval, attention, or validation from others, it's not just about wanting them to like you. It's about believing that you need their approval to be valuable. The truth is that these beliefs are learned, often from childhood, from the people around you, or from societal expectations. You were taught to seek validation, to please others, and to tie your worth to their perception of you. But the moment you detach from this need, when you stop seeing your worth as dependent on others' opinions, you unlock a new level of freedom. The real chains you need to break are the ones in your mind, the false stories you've been telling yourself about your worth and your need to be accepted. Here's how to break free. 1. Acknowledge the belief. Recognize the moments when you feel the urge to seek approval or when you start over-investing emotionally. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? What belief is triggering this behavior? 2. Challenge the belief. Realize that you don't need anyone's approval to feel worthy. You are valuable because you exist. Replace the belief. Instead of thinking, I need their validation, shift to, I am enough as I am. My worth doesn't depend on anyone else. Emotional dependency is one of the most insidious traps. It's the belief that your happiness and peace depend on others, that you need someone else's attention, approval, or affection to feel good about yourself. But the moment you realize your peace is an inside job, everything changes. The dependent person is constantly worried about what others think, obsessing over their every word and action, hoping for approval and fearing rejection. The independent person doesn't need others' approval. They are grounded in their own worth, and their emotional state isn't swayed by external events. This is where your power lies. You stop waiting for others to give you permission to feel worthy, important, or valuable. You start to create your own peace, your own validation, and your own strength.